Hello, Les Power from myantibullyingchannel.com. Many of you will already know me, but for those of you that don't, you now know that I have a deep and abiding hate for bullying. We all know that it's a problem. It's acknowledged as a problem right across the world. It is getting worse in many areas, particularly with the advent of cyber bullying. But I'm just not sure that we're treating it. No disrespect meant to anybody. I mean, there's been many people, wonderful people, that have tried extremely hard over many years to eradicate this horrible human behaviour. However, as we all know, it hasn't worked. To my knowledge, there has never been considering this as a global problem, to my knowledge there's never been a global approach to solving the problem. I've spent many months now attempting to create the best that I can, and I'll get rid of the commerciality right up front. As I said, it's taken me many months, a great deal more than I ever dreamed possible, to create this book. This is my book. It's a 72-page book. I'm very proud of it, and I believe that if enough people buy it, for example, I believe every school in the USA, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and perhaps even other places should buy a copy of this book. They should read it, absorb it, distribute it, and so that we're all on the same page. I believe that when schools become aware of it, teachers become aware of it, the media become aware of it, we can start to make a difference and achieve my aim ultimately, which is to eliminate bullying as a human behaviour for all time. I try and be realistic about it. I know darn well we're not going to get rid of kids behaving badly. It's been happening for thousands of years, and it'll continue to happen for thousands of years to come. But there are aspects of this global problem that I just don't think are being acknowledged or grasped. For example, horrifying as it may seem, we are heading into a very difficult period in the world. This is 2014. We're heading into a very difficult period in world conflicts with various aspects of human behaviour. I'm sure you all know what I mean. And if we have the transgression of bullies coming out of school, going into the workforce, and becoming part of the adult population, wherever you happen to be in the world, I believe that's adding to the problem. I hope you agree with me. I believe we can do something about it. There's also another thing, and that is that it just doesn't seem to be talked about. But bullies suffer a severe penalty, just the same as victims, classrooms, education, teachers, which from my observations is getting worse for teachers. Goodness me, you have my sympathy. Police forces, governments, communities, countries, it's getting worse. But everybody seems to focus on the victim, which is right, perfectly right. However, there's a very interesting article that I recommend to all of you. You may have seen it, I don't know. It's on a website called tweenparentingabout.com, written by a very knowledgeable researcher and author, Rebecca Fraser-Thill. And she asked the question, I've heard about the short-term, I hope you don't mind me reading this, I've heard about the short-term and long-term, long-range effects of being bullied, but what are the effects of being a bully? And the answer might surprise you. Being a bully in childhood increases the risk of many negative outcomes. First, people who were bullies are more likely to drop out of school than their peers. More importantly, they are also at increased risk of experiencing depression and psychological distress, especially if they face up to the seriousness of their bullying behaviour. In addition to that, bullies are more likely to develop an anxiety disorder and to abuse substances, including tobacco, alcohol, marijuana and so on. Being a bully also increases the odds of future run-ins with the law. Amazing. By the mid-20s, former bullies have more traffic violations and 4 times the rate of criminal behaviour than their non-bullying peers. Just think about that. That's just mind-boggling. By the mid-30s, 60% of people who bullied in grades 6 through 9 have at least one criminal conviction. 60%. Former bullies are also more likely to carry weapons than non-bullies and may develop antisocial personal disorder. I'll let you form an opinion on that one. Finally, being a bully in childhood seems to impact their adult home life. Former bullies tend to have problems with long-term relationships and may be abusive toward both their spouse and their children. They also have a harder time securing and maintaining employment than people who had not been bullies. And finally, people who had been bullies are more likely to have children who become bullies themselves, thus beginning the cycle all over again, that's really where my heart is at. I believe that bullying perpetuates itself for many reasons, but not the least of which it's a generational thing. It's been going on for hundreds of years, probably more. Kids see it on TV, they see it in the media, all sorts of media. They hear people talk about it, they see it at school, they see it on the bus stop, they see it in the shopping centre. My view is we need to break the cycle. We need to make bullies aware of not only what harm they're doing to the victim and to the school and to the parents and to their education. We now have a case where they're doing damage to themselves. We need to embrace these people and we need to formulate some sort of a strategy or program to help them change their views, change their outlook on life, get them off the track and bring them back onto the straight and narrow. I'm not a psychologist or a doctor or a teacher, but I'm sure there are people that are watching this that are. I've kept you far too long. Fancy looking at my ugly head for this period of time. But what I wanted to say is that I'll do whatever I can, and I really urge you to do whatever you can to create an awareness. As I said, forgive the commerciality, buy a copy of my book, go to the myantibullyingchannel.com website. The book is available, it's quite affordable, it's under $10. And buy the book, read the book, absorb the book, the contents. In the book there are information from police agencies around the world or in the target markets, USA, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand. There are kids' helplines in there. There are articles in there for teachers, for bullies, cyber bullies, for victims, for parents, for teachers. I've really tried to do the best I can with it, and I hope that it stirs up an awareness that, yeah, maybe if we all get together and do something about this, we can make bullies aware that, as it says on the cover of the book, it's no longer just your victim that's watching you and maybe a few people scattered around the schoolyard, bus stop, shopping centre, wherever. The whole world is now watching you. if we can create that momentum, I believe that other people will come in and help, and I believe that we can eradicate bullying as a human behaviour for all time. I really ask you to do what you can. Just a little bit from everybody is all that we require. I really ask you to do what you can to get a school bullying program going, make everybody aware of it, and just do a little bit so that everybody else will do a little bit, and let's all get together and eliminate bullying for all time. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Whoops, sorry. I would really like to just leave you with one final thought. This motivates the living daylights out of me, and I hope it does you. Can you just imagine if we all do work together and we help bullies, we help the victims, and we reduce and eventually eradicate this problem? Can you think about what value that's going to be to the world? Think about the world that we're all going into. That motivates me. I'm prepared to do whatever I can. All I ask from you is just a little bit. This time I am going. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.